What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the CFL podcast. And y'all, today we're going to be talking about the keys to success, the keys to getting the win versus ULM for Jackson State University. Now, we all know this is a big game coming up, mostly because ULM, even though they're not the best program, they are an FBS opponent. And anytime you play an FBS opponent as an FCS opponent, it's always a big game. And of course, with all the upsets that's been happening from week 1 and week 2, Jackson State has a chance to continue that success. And being that ULM, a lot of people actually have them winning this game. The pressure's on them. The pressure is on them. I'm not going to lie to you. So we're going to talk about the things that they can do to win this game. Because although it is very much winnable, they can still shoot themselves in the foot. And it's important for them to not do that coming out of the gate. So first up, the very first step, right? You need to realize that you are not the home team. ULM is the home team. They will get the home team calls, okay? So all the holdings, all the unnecessary roughness, every pass interference call, you have to be clean with that. Y'all need to be clean. All of the bonehead mistakes that you've been making from week 1 and week 2, you cannot make it this week, okay? No, none of that chirping stuff, because you don't know how their refs are. So you need to be disciplined more than you have ever been in these past 2 weeks. Because as we know, penalties can be drive killers. And we've seen it happen in the Orange Blossom Classic. We even seen it a little bit in the first half of the Southern Heritage Classic. Eliminate those mistakes, eliminate those bonehead penalties. Please. That is key to that's key to any team's success. But in this case, you cannot have it. You just can't have it. Especially because we feel like this game is going to be a close one. A lot of people are saying 20-21-24, 28-21. You just don't give them more opportunities to beat you. Because although Jackson State has a talent advantage, even their coach admitted it. ULM's coach admitted it. They have a talent advantage over ULM. With that being said, what they don't have over ULM is size. ULM is much bigger than they are. So, just like I said, eliminate the mistakes, all right? Next up, build off of last week. Continue to build, continue to keep the momentum going. I love that the offensive coordinator said, you know what? I trust you. Air it out, Shador. And he did just that. He spread the wealth. Keith Corbin got in. Warren Newman got some. Joshua Lanier got some. Trevonte Rucker got some. Everybody was getting targeted, and everybody was contributing. That is a way to keep them honest, all right? Because we know Trevonte Rucker throughout this past few weeks is developing into your favorite target, and so is Joshua Lanier. So it helps because they've had a whole bye week to watch film on you. So it helps that you got the ball to Warren. It helps that you got the ball to Keith and everybody, and Shane Hooks as well. I'm forgetting Shane Hooks. So it's going to work in your favor if you continue to spread the wealth the way you are doing. Okay? Now, when y'all were listening to the Roundtable Talk with me, Blue Bloods, Off Script, and HBCU Spotlight, I said that I think that they should take shots. Calculated shots, of course. Thank you to Blue Blood for saying that, because don't just take random shots, but take calculated shots. Because just because they are an FBS opponent does not mean that your talent is lacking in any way, shape, or form. Your receiving core has produced at the FBS level, a few guys, and for the guys who haven't, they're still immensely talented. So I'm not going to be scared or back down from my game plan just because we're playing you guys. You are not Alabama. You're an FBS opponent, but you are not Alabama. So I'm not worried, all right? I'm going to take shots, and I'm going to do it in a calculated way. All right? I trust Warren Newman. I'm sorry, not Warren Newman. I trust Joshua Lanier to come down with the 50-50 ball. So do I trust Keith Corbin and Shane Hooks. And Malachi Wideman, we still have yet to see him, but Malachi Wideman as well. I trust those guys to come down with 50-50 balls. And we've seen, if you've watched the Kentucky versus ULM game, you've seen they weren't able to really hang with Kentucky's receivers. And I would give them a pass because they're ULM and Kentucky is a very underrated team this year. But watching the tape, those corners were backed off like 10 yards and was still getting beat deep. So, I mean, something got to give with that. I'm not really too confident in that secondary, but we'll see. We'll see, because I can be wrong. But yeah, continue to build off of last week and the week before that. In the first game in the Orange Blossom Classic, you only scored 7 points. You were throwing the ball, but the play calling just wasn't where it needed to be. And then in the second week, you followed that up by scoring over 30 points. And then you spread the wealth. Shador was let loose a little bit more. But you weren't able to get the run game going, and you didn't start scoring points until the second half, really. So in this game, y'all need to get it going out the gate. I need to see that offense produce in the first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. It's time to do it for a whole game now. There's no waiting until the third quarter to get things going. That is not going to work with every opponent, especially with your next two opponents in ULM and Alabama A&M. No, it needs to get going this week. It needs to get going this week. I'm sorry it has to come during what many people believe to be your hardest game of the season, but it just needs to happen. You got too much talent. There's no more waiting. It's time to get it done, all right? So get it going during the first half. Try that running game out. Tyson Alexander is back this week from what I hear. Give Tyson the ball, please. Give Tyson the ball. Still try Peyton Pickett, because Peyton Pickett is a great receiving back. He lacks patience. He really does lack patience when waiting for his holes to open up to run, which is why he only averages like 3 or 4 yards a carry. But Tyson Alexander has that patience. Tyson Alexander picks the right time to get through that hold, and he goes, all right? So now that he's back, you get him incorporated. You try to get Peyton Pickett going on short, goal line situations or third and short situations and things like that. And, overall, just try to get this offense moving early and often. You cannot wait till the third quarter. My next point, offensive coordinator. To the offensive coordinator, you did a great job last week. Do not shy away from it this week. Please, don't reel it back in. Do not reel it back in. I know we like to talk about, Shador goes out and he throws a couple picks. What is that going to do to his confidence? I'm not really as worried about Shador's confidence as a lot of other people may be at this point. Like, when we really think about it, he's been going through this stuff his whole life. The boy's been on TV his whole life. Like, you've been Deion's son your whole life. When you've gotten to high school, people will question, are you really that good? Or is it just because you're Deion's son? Like, I have no worries in his ability to bounce back if he does make a mistake. And that's just me personally. What I see in him from who he was raised by, I doubt that, if he goes out and throws a pick in this game, that he's gonna be like, damn, maybe I'm not good, or maybe I just don't got it this game. I don't think so. I think he'll process that, and he'll take time to get over it, and then he'll come out and still continue to play his game, because mistakes are gonna happen eventually. He's gonna throw his first pick eventually, so it's inevitable. I think he's gonna just shrug that off, and he's gonna get back to doing what he's doing. So, and my final point, the defense. Defense, continue to do what you're doing. Continue to do what you are doing. Coach Bowden of ULM actually said they are still looking for playmakers on their offense. They don't have a playmaker yet. They have you in size, understand that, but you are ferocious. The reason why I'm so confident in this defense is because the same way we talk about ULM being an FBS opponent, does Jackson State not have FBS transfers that produced for multiple years at their respective schools, at their previous schools? Antoine Owens didn't produce at Georgia Tech. James Houston, as great as he is, didn't produce at Florida. I mean, Aubrey Miller at Missouri. Come on, man. Randall Haney at Vanderbilt. Dejon Ward didn't play in the SEC, but he could have been at Georgia right now. Shiloh at South Carolina. These guys aren't, I get ULM is a FBS school, but the guys on Jackson State's defense have FBS experience as well, which they've brought down here too. So I think it's going to be a lot better of a matchup than we think. I don't think Jackson State needs to be as scared or as worried for ULM because you have transfers who have, you got a few who didn't produce, who didn't get playing time yet at the FBS level and came down. But you have more. You have an abundance more of transfers produced at the FBS level for multiple years. So what is there to worry about? What is there to worry about? Because I feel like when we talk about this ULM versus Jackson State game, and we talk about what Jackson State needs to do, the energy I get is like, y'all need to be careful because these guys are it. They're an FBS school. And I get it, but I don't get it. There's no reason for Jackson State to go in this game being worried. And I'm not saying that people are saying that they should be worried. I'm saying is that's the energy I get from when we talk about Jackson State versus ULM. They're just as talented. They're just as talented. And I think they're going to go out there and they're going to prove it tomorrow. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below, all right? Because I really want to know your opinions on this game. I just think we need to show a little bit more confidence in Jackson State when we talk about this game tomorrow because it is a big one, and I can't wait to see how it goes. So, guys, with that being said, this is the CFL podcast. I go by the name of Kobe. Peace.